Hey everybody, it's Jim from Senior Social Squad. Today I'd like to talk about volunteering. And if you have any thoughts about volunteering ideas or things that you volunteer for, please put them in the comments because we're always looking for ideas and things that we can do that fit our capabilities and our energy level and our interests and things like that. So if you have any ideas, please let me know.
Yes, sir. I want to volunteer.
Anyway, I was thinking back to my 30s and 40s, and man, I was volunteering for everything. I was coaching sports teams. I was active in my kids' school groups and stuff like that. I was in the JCs and later on Optimus, and later on after that Rotary. So I was doing stuff like that all the time. I was on boards of my professional groups. And you name it, I was doing it. It seems like I was very, very active. And I look back at those times, and it's funny how I bet you go through this too, but when you're 40, you look back and say, how did I have all that energy in my 20s? And then you get to be 50, you say, man, how did I have all that energy in my 40s? And now we're looking back and say, I remember those good old days when I was 55 or 60, man. I could set the world on fire.
Sandwich and you can barely make it to the couch.
But anyway, we still have some juice left in us, right? So let's talk about volunteering.
Okay, so you want to volunteer?
After my kind of big rush of volunteering, my kids got out of high school and my career really kind of took over. And I dropped out. I was very, very, very career focused for several years. Kind of lost my volunteering instinct. And when I retired, I said, I'm just going to lay back for a time, kind of relax and enjoy life, and not really think about doing anything. And a couple of years went by after I was retired, and I said, okay, it's time to start doing something. And so what I ended up doing was looking around, and my wife is very helpful in that regard. And we actually did it together. We decided to volunteer for a local organization that kind of functions like Goodwill, but completely on a volunteer basis, and makes collections of donations. And then they have like a store, and it's rather nice store for shoppers. Only the difference is if you qualify with your income, you shop for free. And I ended up being kind of a big and, believe it or not, young guy for that the volunteers in that organization at age 72. I ended up doing what they call intake, which is taking the big heavy bags of clothes and furniture and whatnot out of people's car and moving them where they're supposed to be and stuff like that. I figure on a typical shift of 3 hours, I move probably 5 or 6 thousand pounds of stuff. So not an easy job, but it is very rewarding. So I only do maybe 4, 5, 6 hours a week of volunteering, but I think it's a very positive thing. And I can understand if you're relaxing and taking it easy and enjoying life, that's great. But if you have some free time and you want to volunteer, I think there's lots of benefits to it. It gets you out of the house. It makes you get up in the morning. And when I have to volunteer for my intake job, I have to get up at a certain time, be there on time, and then it pretty much tires me out.
Oh, I'm volunteering. I love to volunteer.
So there's lots of benefit being active, being on your feet, being out with people and socializing. It really is kind of a nice thing. And actually, what I found is, and this is my own personal experience, and maybe it relates to you, but I was spending a lot of time on my phone and online looking at stuff and doing what the young people call doom scrolling. And you get kind of fed up and kind of think less of humanity. And going out and doing jobs with people and working basically in these volunteer roles where everybody's contributing to the same effort really gives you a good feeling. And I know, like when I'm doing the intake and people bring in amazing things and make donations, it really makes me feel better about the world as a whole. And so, getting out and being with other people, I think it can be very, very important if you're physically up to it and have the wherewithal to do it. So that's what I want to talk about for volunteering. Some ideas off the top of my head and people that I know. Nature preserves are often looking for volunteers. Animal shelters, service organizations, churches, nursing homes, food banks, and really anything. If you think about what skills you have to offer, you do taxes or something like that, maybe you can volunteer in that sense. So there's a lot of opportunities. And again, if you have any thoughts or ideas about volunteering, I'd like to hear about that in the comments. Okay, it's Jim from Senior Social Squad. I will see you next time.